far as theory goes, I would use critical race theory. It's all about the main focus of differences and everyone being the same. So in this case, with the disease of COVID or zombies, I could see people being like, for instance, people that even have a cough or do anything similar to like a sickness, people freak out and assume that they have COVID, when that's not the case. Sometimes like it's just allergies, or like they could have a cold, or like whatever. It's like similar with being a zombie. Someone that maybe had symptoms of being a zombie, people would stereotype that as their difference being that they are a zombie. And so like kind of stereotyping them and saying that like they're bad now, just because of something that they're doing. So like in a way of like with race, it's a difference, and people kind of label that a certain thing of whatever idea that they assume that they're gonna be like, which of course is, very wrong. I would say that the whole center of that is difference. If you stand out or if you're different, then like that's when you're labeled a certain way and like treated differently. So in a difference of the way you act maybe, or the way you look, maybe people just assume that you have COVID, or you are like, you're a zombie or whatever, when that could just be how they looked, or like again, like with the sickness and stuff, that could be totally normal. Yeah. Okay, so this is video 2. I'm gonna talk about it says describe a threat. So it says represent some kind of cultural, social, or political threat. So I would say like probably a lot of people have used Corona is very similar in this way. Like the video that was on your page about comparing the two of zombies and COVID-19. I think the biggest similarity is the fact that it's kind of, in movies at least, like with zombies, it's all about the unknown. A lot of people in the movies don't really know anything about them, or have never heard about them, and it's just like this like new creature that that is kind of spreading the world and bringing in some kind of like death, and it's just a big threat. So zombies are caused by a disease. That's kind of how they center out. That's how they begin. And that's very much like COVID. It started out with a disease, and of course there's not people running the streets trying to kill people, thankfully. It has made people a little bit, I think, insane, a little, like the quarantining. I think that a lot has happened in our culture right now, and I think people are just really extra sensitive as well, just because they have been quarantined. And so maybe whenever people were exposed to the virus of becoming a zombie or COVID, having to quarantine is like, first of all, it's kind of like feels unfair maybe, because like it's not their fault that they caught it and they don't want to catch it, but at the same time now they have to kind of punish themselves for that. And so that's definitely a big threat, like culturally, I think. I would say the 2 and 2 go very similar in many different scenarios. Everyone like quarantining, going back to that, like everyone has to quarantine to make sure they either don't have it or that they're not going to have it. And Corona is very new to research, and so people don't know the full extent of how serious it is, or the side effects, or everything that is to know about Corona. And so that itself is scary and intimidating to people, and people are kind of going crazy because they don't really know where to put it in their heads. So kind of like with zombies, in the movies at least, like they don't know where to put it in their head because they don't know how bad it is and they don't know what to expect. And the unknown is always so much worse than the devil you don't, per se. That's what my dad always tells me. That's why everyone is especially fearful because of the unknown. The healthy people typically stick together, just like the infected typically stick together. So, for instance, if a family got corona, they would all quarantine together. If just one person got it, then they would be quarantined by themselves versus together. So, like, kind of like with zombies, like the people that have it, of course, like would not be with people that don't have it. And so, similar to that, it doesn't affect everyone in the same way. Like the video from the lesson, everyone is affected in different ways, kind of like with ages and backgrounds of health and just different reasons, like with COVID and being a zombie. With COVID, so I have some friends that have it and they had no idea that they had it. They had no symptoms. Some people were very sick. Some people have died from it. Some people, again, don't even know that they have it. And so, and some people it lasts a long time and sometimes it doesn't. And so, again, they don't really have a lot of research on it, so they don't really know. There's a lot of research and time and money in figuring out this disease, but again, like that takes a lot of time. They used forest fires as an example as well, so that takes a long time to kind of calm down. So maybe like the spread of like the virus when it comes to zombies, like it might take forever to kind of contain the spread just because like there's so many people that have it and it's like it spreads really fast. So similar to COVID, it's very contagious. That's why everyone wears masks. Even people that don't have it wear masks. Other groups are definitely a threat. I think so because the unknown is definitely like I said, scary. And other groups, like I said, the virus hits differently, like COVID and zombies. But when you come in contact with other people, you don't know whether they are healthy, super infected, infected differently than you are. Like, let's say if you have like a touch of whatever they've had, or a touch of the virus, or if they're just bad people, like you have no idea. So when it comes to other groups, it is definitely a threat because you don't know who they are, you don't know their background, you don't know if they're insane, you don't know if just because like people have had to quarantine again from COVID or being a zombie, like you don't know their intentions, you don't know them as a person, you don't know if they're good or bad or just like kind of want to kill everyone or whatever, you know. So definitely the other groups are a threat because you don't know them, they don't know you, there's no trust there, different than someone who's in your group because you know each other and so you trust each other. So definitely other groups are a big threat and they're just another unknown variable that is again scary and people don't know where to put those unknown variables, so it drives them a little bit more insane too.